Hello you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kaylee if you're new here. Today's video is a Q&A. I asked you guys on my Instagram what questions you had for me, and I'm about to answer them. This time around, we are not leaving a single question out. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's get started. First question is, have you ever had any work done, like Botox, fillers, etc.? No, I've never had any work done. I don't have anything against people who do get work done or anything like that. I'm terrified of needles, if I'm being honest, so I don't think I could pay someone to stab me with a needle. I just don't think it's in the cards for me, but if that's your jam and that's what you like to do, then go for it. But you never know, so I will not say that I will never get it done, because who knows, maybe in the future I won't be afraid of needles. But as of right now, no, I've never gotten any work done. What is your most embarrassing moment you've ever had in a gym? So one time, this was when I first started out my fitness journey, I was terrified of the barbell. And so I would use the Smith machine instead. This was like my first time using a Smith machine in my entire life. Put weight on it, I unhooked it, and I was finishing up my first set, and I forgot to re-hook it back on, and I tried to step underneath it, and it just landed flat on my head. It was the most embarrassing moment I've ever had in my entire life. I think like 2 people came up to me and was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I just left. How many times do you go grocery shopping in a week, and how much do you spend? So I shop, for me and Bryson, I shop maybe once or twice a week, probably just once a week, and I spend anywhere from $130 to $175. How many kids do you want? Talking about kids, I have always wanted twin boys and a little girl. Obviously, you can't choose your future of having kids, but if I were to have 3 kids, that would be the ideal situation. If not, I'll probably only have 2, because giving birth scares the crap out of me. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would you change? How long it takes me to do simple tasks. I get so distracted so easily, and something that should take 20 minutes ends up taking me 2 hours, and I don't know, I would probably just change the fact that like I get sidetracked 24/7, but that's okay. That's what makes me me, and I don't really feel like we should be worried about changing anything about ourselves. I think we're just always in a constant state of growth, and I think that that's just super important to put into perspective. Do you have any phobias? So yes, I have 2, or I guess 3. I already said 1, needles, but I am afraid of anything on the earth that has too many legs or like no legs at all. I think it's just like the weirdest thing. So like centipedes freak me out, or like snakes. I just can't do it. And then another thing, I'm also terrified of the dark. I am scared of what's in the dark. I've watched so many paranormal movies, and I've heard too many stories of that. It freaks me out. Do you whiten your teeth? What do you use? I used to use whitening strips. I used to use the Crest ones. Now I don't, because my teeth are so sensitive. So when I do use whitening strips, it hurts my teeth really bad. I just use the baking soda toothpaste from Arm & Hammer. That's like my favorite toothpaste ever. So I just use that day and night. And then obviously I floss and get your 6-month checkup every single 6 months. What's the biggest mindset change you had when you were on your fitness journey? That, and if you could tell your past self one piece of advice, what would it be? I'm just gonna kind of put those 2 together. I would say to not be afraid of food, and to not overdo the cardio. When I first started out my fitness journey, I was obsessed with trying to be the smallest person in the room, and I quickly found out that that's not how you should live your life. Since then, I've actually gained over 30 pounds from the start of my fitness journey, so you can tell that that was a big growing point for me. And so I think that what I would tell myself back then is to be proud of your body. Strong is beautiful. When do you think you and Bryson will get engaged? We're both very, very young, and like personally, I'm just not ready for that step in my life yet. But when the time comes, he will know and you guys will know. So that's probably a question you guys should be asking him, not me. What's your current job? I work in a gym. What foundation do you use? I used to use foundation. I don't use foundation anymore. I use a tinted moisturizer. I use the Laura Mercier one. That one's my favorite. Do you and Bryson live together? Yes, we live together. We've lived together since we moved to Austin about a little over a year ago. We moved in January of last year, so we've lived together since then. What is your current fitness goals? What does your training style look like? My current fitness goals, specifically what I'm working on is my pull-ups. One of my New Year's resolutions is to be able to do a pull-up. I know that sounds really stupid, but I like actually can't. So I'm really working on growing my back muscles to be able to do some pull-ups. My training style kind of looks like this. I will do 1 to 2 compound movements, and then I will move into 2 to 3 supersets of isolation movements. My training split is I do a push-pull legs, and then I work out 6 times a week. I usually put in a HIIT circuit in there once or twice a week. As of right now, I'm just really trying to maximize strength growth. I'm actually trying to bump up my calories right now. I just didn't know. My foot was falling asleep. Tell us something that not a lot of people know about you. I have the worst road rage you could ever possibly imagine. Like, if someone cuts me off, good night. Like, I will literally slam on my horn. It makes me so upset. Or when people like pull out right in front of me, oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. How has Texas been? Do you think you'll stay in Texas forever? So for those of you who don't know, I'm originally from Oregon. I grew up in Oregon, went to college for a little bit in Oregon, and then about a year ago, I moved down to Texas. This is where I've been for about a year now. We will be staying for another year just because that's like, we renewed our lease. We love Texas, we love the people, we love the weather. It's so warm here, people are so polite, and we love this city. But me and Bryson both are people who love to explore and love to travel, and so I don't see us staying in Texas forever. I see us moving around a lot, which I'm totally fine with. I think that when I'm young, I want to be able to experience as much of life as possible and as many places as possible. I think that's the beauty of being able to move around at such a young age. But yeah, you never know. We might end up moving back. We might end up leaving. Who knows? How tall are you? I am 5'5" and a half. Every little bit counts. I had a couple questions about my parents. So one of them was, what's your relationship with your parents? Is it hard living so far away from your family? For me, it's not genuinely hard. Yes, it was very hard at first just because I had always been like within an hour drive from them. So I would say like the first 6 months are the hardest. Me and my sister, those of you who don't know, I have 2 younger brothers and 1 younger sister. Me and my little sister actually like basically share a birthday. I'm born on the 1st and she's born on the 2nd, which like we would, growing up, I hated it. We would always have like joint birthdays, but like now that I can't have that, I like miss it. So that part's a little hard just because she's so young and like I like miss like seeing her grow up. But there's always FaceTime. You can always plan a trip, and if it's hard living away from them, you can always move back. That's the beauty of being able to move at a young age. Like, you don't have any ties anywhere. Like, you can literally do whatever you want. You can move wherever you want. And the second question about my parents was, do you pay for everything yourself or do your parents? So I have paid for everything myself since I was 18. I moved out of the house. I went to school. I paid for everything myself. Yes, my parents did help me out a little bit, but for the most part, I was on my own. I paid rent. I paid for school. I paid like honestly everything by myself. It was very, very hard. I had to miss a lot of like social events because I had to work and support going to school and living on my own. So I pay for everything myself. I moved down to Austin by myself. Obviously, if I want to go home, like, they'll help me here and there. It's not like they don't help me at all whatsoever, but for the most part, I pay for pretty much everything. I'm so grateful to be able to do that by myself. I think it's a big accomplishment, and it makes you much more independent and much more your own person. I wouldn't change that part about my life whatsoever because it's taught me so much, and I think I've grown so much from it. I thought this one was kind of funny. So someone said, tacos or pizza for the rest of your life, you can only choose one. I probably would choose tacos just because there's so many different varieties, even though I would really miss pizza. That would be really hard, but tacos, you can add literally anything into a taco and it tastes good, so I feel like I would have so much more variety eating tacos versus pizza, but I would miss pizza. Tell us about a time you looked really happy, but you actually weren't. Right when I moved to school, I was very lost. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Looking back, I was just very unhappy with myself and like my inner self, so I kind of tried to hide that with like partying and like drinking, hanging out with friends, like trying to cope with the like mental struggles that I was going with. So I would probably say that like that was probably one of the worst times in my life, but I like tried to hide it. I think it was a big growing point for me. I don't think that I would have found fitness as an outlet if I didn't go through that. All right, you guys, so that is it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this Q&A, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. Hopefully I'll get to it next time. Make sure that you're following me over on Instagram so that you can participate in the next Q&A. If you have any other questions for me, you can always leave them in the comments below as well. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.